Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Devan. The US has imposed a 50% tariff on Indian exports, combining a 25% reciprocal tariff and a 25% penalty for India's $52.7 billion worth of Russian oil purchases. This is aimed at pressuring Russia over the Ukraine war. As per our calculation, this impacts $60.2 billion worth of India's $87 billion US export market, hitting textiles, gems, jewelry and auto parts. It also threatens jobs and India's export-driven growth. Pharmaceuticals and electronics have been exempt, but a potential 200% drug tariff looms large. India calls this move completely unfair, with Prime Minister Modi vowing to protect national interests. Experts warn of a 0.3 to 0.8% drop in GDP growth. While India explores trade talks and closer ties with China to counter the impact, there are several new aspects of geopolitics that continue to emerge on a daily basis as more and more nations turn to each other for greater bilateral relations. Has Donald Trump ushered in a new era in global politics and global trade? We take that conversation forward. I have with me on the broadcast Mr. Andrew K.P. Leung, who will be joining us from Hong Kong. He's an independent China strategist. Also with me, Dr. Satoru Nagao, fellow at the Hudson Institute in Tokyo. Mr. Keith Vass, former Minister of the UK, joins us live as well. And Mr. Ravi Karkara, founder of Invest NYC Forum, joins us from the United States of America. Let me begin with Dr. Satoru Nagao. Dr. Nagao, we are expecting our Prime Minister to be in Japan, the Indian Prime Minister to be in Japan very shortly from now. What really are you hoping will be the tone and tenor of this visit, given that we've just had a huge announcement today where our Prime Minister has flagged off Maruti Suzuki's first electric vehicle, e-Vitara, in India, and Suzuki has also announced a major investment of upwards of rupees 70,000 crores in India in the next 5 to 6 years. My simple point being, what is your expectation from this visit where our Prime Minister will be meeting his Japanese counterpart amid this entire problem of the Trump tariffs?
Trump tariff is not directly linked with Indian-Japan relation, I believe, because rising India and relation with Japan has a huge potential itself. So firstly, we should remember why Shinzo Abe mentioned about Indo-Pacific and Quad, especially in 2007 when he addressed in the Indian Parliament. Title is Conference 2C. That time he introduced it because Indian Ocean has the potential and the Pacific Ocean want to connect with the Indian Ocean, which is we want to cooperate with India. It's a very important message because India is rising. Geographically, India has the potential to expand their influence through sea in the Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. All of the area are surrounded but connected with India. So if India will rise, India's influence will spread to this area, and Japan focusing on this situation. Of course, China is a very important factor and motivation for Japan. But the view from now, it is Shinzo Abe was right, because India's potential itself is quite attractive. That is very important. That is one thing. So when Prime Minister Modi visit Japan and Japan decide to invest huge in India and making the factory in India, export from India to this region, it will be very strategic. Just some days before his visit, Prime Minister Modi's visit, Japan already published Indian Ocean Africa Economic Zone Initiative. This is a huge potential in the Indian Ocean because this is focusing on African policy. India and Japan collaborate each other in Africa. Middle East, IMEC, in G20, India published this idea. India, Middle East, and Europe. So India, Middle East, Europe, India, Middle East, Africa, which is Indian Ocean, Africa's Economic Zone Initiative, I want to say. So all of these regions related with the India-Japan relations. So that's why this is very important. But at the same time, if you think about relation with Trump, I need to say one thing, another thing in this case. When Trump tried to deal, he used intimidation. But contents of the intimidation is not so important. If he tried to deal with Zelensky, what happened? He said Zelensky was a dictator or something. Next day, the journalist asked President Trump, after he have already talked with Zelensky, he said, did I say that? I did not think so. So content is not the matter. When Japan deal with the United States, President Trump said, Japan must import rice. But under the negotiation between US and Japan, there is no mention about rice. Just increase a little, but very little. So that's not a big matter. So when Trump intimidates other country to deal, content is not the content is not so important. That is what I want to say, view from the Japanese experiences. That's all. Thank you.